Croatia is often imagined as a narrow strip of stone, sunlight, and blue water. But the country begins far from the Adriatic. In the north, rivers cross broad plains and cities carry the atmosphere of Central Europe. Beyond them, mountains rise into a rugged limestone barrier. On the other side, the land descends toward an intricate coast of islands, harbors, and ancient stone towns. These are not separate Croatias. They are parts of the same country, connected by roads, migration, trade, memory, and the sea. Across this landscape, Roman amphitheaters stand beside modern streets. Medieval walls surround living neighborhoods. Palaces became homes, markets, cafes, and passageways. Traditions shaped by farmers, sailors, merchants, and craftsmen continue within a modern European nation. The Adriatic may be Croatia's most recognizable face, but behind that coastline is a more complex story, one formed between the Mediterranean, the mountains, and the plains of Central Europe. To understand Croatia, we must travel through all of them. Far from the coast, Zagreb reveals another side of Croatia. The city developed beneath Mount Medvednica, where routes across the plains met the road leading toward the Adriatic. Its historic center grew from two neighboring medieval settlements. Kaptol became the religious center, while fortified Gračac developed on the opposite hill as a town of merchants and craftsmen. Kaptol was first recorded in connection with the founding of a diocese in 1094. In 1242, Gračac received the status of a free royal city. For centuries, the two settlements developed side by side. Their towers, churches, gates, and narrow streets formed the heart of the city that eventually united as Zagreb in 1850. Today, this history remains visible in the upper town. The tiled roof of St. Mark's Church rises above a quiet square. The stone gate leads through part of the old fortifications, while the Lotršćak Tower looks across the rooftops of the modern capital. Below the hill, Zagreb changes character. The lower town is more spacious, shaped by 19th century avenues, public buildings, gardens, and a chain of carefully designed parks. Blue trams move between railway stations, offices, museums, residential neighborhoods, and crowded squares. At Dolac Market, farmers and vendors continue a daily rhythm only steps from the main square. Nearby cafes fill gradually as people turn public streets into places for conversation. Zagreb does not feel like a historic city preserved behind glass. Its past remains part of an active capital, visible in the distance between two old hills, in the sound of a tram, and in the streets connecting medieval Zagreb with the city that grew around it. West of the mountains, the Istrian Peninsula reaches into the northern Adriatic. Its landscape is softer than much of the Dalmatian coast. Vineyards, olive groves, forests, and hilltop settlements cover an interior that has been cultivated for centuries. At the southern end of the peninsula stands Pula. During the Roman period, it was an important colonial center. Its most powerful monument, the Pula Arena, was constructed in the 1st century. The amphitheater once held public spectacles for thousands of spectators. Today, its complete outer wall still rises above the harbor, but the building has acquired a different role. The place once designed for Roman entertainment now hosts concerts, festivals, and cultural events. The change captures something essential about Croatia's ancient monuments. They have survived not simply because they remained untouched, but because later generations repeatedly found new meanings for them. Farther north, Rovinj appears to rise directly from the sea. Its old town once occupied an island before the channel separating it from the mainland was filled during the 18th century. Houses were built close together, climbing toward the Church of St. Euphemia at the highest point. Narrow streets pass beneath laundry, stone balconies, workshops, and faded facades. Small boats fill the harbor below, while cafes and galleries occupy buildings shaped by an older maritime world. Beyond the coast, Istria becomes quieter. Roads pass through vineyards, olive groves, and towns built on defensive hills. Agriculture and tourism now share a landscape once contested by distant powers. Roman stone, Venetian architecture, Mediterranean farming, and modern life meet here without forming a museum. Together, they make Istria one of Croatia's most distinctive regions. Continuing south, the coast reaches Zadar, a city that has faced the Adriatic for more than 2,000 years. Its peninsula preserves traces of several different eras. Fragments of a Roman forum stand in the open air. Medieval churches rise nearby, while gates and defensive walls recall the centuries when Zadar formed part of Venice's maritime network. Yet Zadar's most recognizable modern monuments do not attempt to imitate the past. At the edge of the waterfront, stone steps conceal the pipes of the sea organ. Waves push air through the system, producing notes that change with the movement of the water. The sea does not merely surround the city. Here, it creates the music. Beside it, the greeting to the sun gathers solar energy during the day and becomes a circular display of light after sunset. These installations transformed an ordinary waterfront into a meeting place where residents and visitors gather at the end of the day. Behind them, life continues through markets, cafes, apartment streets, fishing boats, and ferries traveling toward nearby islands. Zadar has been Roman, medieval, Venetian, and modern. But its identity cannot be reduced to any single period. The city's strongest connection has always been the same: the open horizon and the water beyond its walls. In Split, the boundary between an archaeological site and a living city almost disappears. At the beginning of the 4th century, the Roman Emperor Diocletian built an enormous palace beside the sea. It contained fortified walls, ceremonial spaces, military quarters, private chambers, and direct access to the water. But the palace did not remain an isolated imperial residence. Over the centuries, buildings, homes, churches, shops, and streets grew inside and around its walls. Diocletian's mausoleum eventually became the Cathedral of St. Domnius. Ancient columns framed later Christian ceremonies. Medieval houses leaned against Roman stone, and new passageways formed through former imperial rooms. The result was not a carefully planned museum. It was a city created through continuous reuse. That process remains visible today. People pass through the palace gates on their way to work. Restaurants occupy vaulted spaces. Laundry hangs above narrow streets. Musicians perform in the peristyle. And residents live within walls constructed more than 17 centuries ago. Beneath part of the complex, the palace cellars preserve the shape of rooms that once stood above them. Outside, the Riva opens toward the harbor, where ferries connect Split with the islands and coastal settlements beyond. The wider city is energetic and modern. Markets fill the streets near the palace. Apartment districts spread far beyond the ancient center. On Marjan Hill, pine-covered paths overlook the sea and the urban coastline. Split does not simply protect its Roman past. It moves through it every day. Few places show so clearly how a monument can survive by becoming part of ordinary life. Beyond Split and the mainland coast, the Adriatic breaks into a world of islands. Some are large enough to contain towns, farms, roads, and mountain landscapes. Others are little more than bare stone rising above the water. For centuries, island communities depended on boats, fishing, olive cultivation, vineyards, and limited soil protected by carefully constructed stone walls. On Hvar, the starry Grad Plain preserves an agricultural landscape, first organized by Greek settlers in the 4th century BC. Grapes and olives are still cultivated across fields whose basic divisions have survived for more than 2,000 years. Elsewhere on the island, Hvar town opens around a broad harbor beneath a hilltop fortress. Brač is known for its pale limestone landscapes, old villages, and the changing shape of Zlatni Rat Beach. Korčula presents another version of island life, with a fortified stone town surrounded by narrow sea passages and forested hills. Modern ferries have reduced the isolation of these communities. During summer, harbors become crowded and quiet streets fill with visitors. But distance still matters. Weather can interrupt connections. Many jobs follow the rhythm of the tourist season, and life changes when the last summer boats leave. The islands are not decorations scattered across the Adriatic. They are inhabited landscapes, shaped by the effort required to build, cultivate, travel, and remain connected across the water. At the southern end of the Croatian coast, Dubrovnik rises between a rocky hillside and the Adriatic. Its walls create the image of a perfect stone city, but their beauty was built for a practical purpose. They protected a small maritime republic surrounded by larger and more powerful states. Known historically as Ragusa, Dubrovnik developed into an important Mediterranean sea power from the 13th century. Its ships carried merchants and goods between ports, while its leaders relied on diplomacy, negotiation, and carefully managed relationships to preserve the city's autonomy. The republic was governed from within the walls. The rector's palace combined political authority with restraint. Churches, monasteries, fountains, warehouses, and public buildings lined streets designed for a dense urban community. In 1667, a devastating earthquake destroyed much of the city. Dubrovnik rebuilt, preserving the mixture of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque architecture that still defines its historic center. Today, visitors enter through the gates and follow the polished stone of the Straden. From the walls, the city appears almost theatrical. Rows of terracotta roofs enclosed by towers, cliffs, and blue water. At street level, it becomes more intimate. Narrow stairways rise between homes. Small courtyards hide behind stone facades. Deliveries arrive in the morning, residents cross crowded streets, and bells mark the passage of time. Beyond the famous walls lies another Dubrovnik, residential neighborhoods, beaches, roads, and the port of Gruž, where ferries and ships connect the city to the wider coast. Dubrovnik's survival is not only a story of stone fortifications, it is a story of a city that used trade, law, diplomacy, and the sea to create influence far greater than its physical size. Croatia's cities tell only part of its story. Between the northern plains and the Adriatic stands a landscape dominated by limestone. Water often disappears beneath the surface, traveling through caves and underground channels before returning as springs, rivers, and waterfalls. This relationship between water and stone has shaped some of the country's most remarkable environments. At Plitvice Lakes, water descends through a chain of lakes divided by natural barriers of tufa. These barriers form as dissolved minerals are deposited through a combination of water chemistry and biological activity. The process continues today, which means the lakes are not a finished geological monument. They are still changing. Water spills across the barriers in countless streams and waterfalls, surrounded by forests that shift from deep green to gold, red, and white with the seasons. Farther south, the Krka River creates another landscape of cascades before continuing toward the Adriatic. Along the coast, the Velebit range forms a dramatic wall above the sea. Its slopes contain forests, bare limestone, deep gorges, and habitats adapted to rapid changes in altitude and climate. In places such as Paklenica, narrow canyons cut directly into the mountain. These landscapes complicate the familiar image of Croatia as a country of beaches and calm summer water. Behind the coast is a more rugged world, one of forests, caves, rivers, waterfalls, winter snow, and exposed stone. The same geology that divided communities also created harbors, islands, fertile valleys, and natural passages. In Croatia, stone is not simply the background, it is one of the forces that shape the country. There is no single Croatian way of life. The traditions of Zagreb, the northern plains, Istria, Dalmatia, and the islands were shaped by different climates, crops, trade routes, and historical influences. Inland kitchens reflect fields, forests, rivers, and colder winters. Along the coast, fish, olive oil, wine, herbs, and seasonal vegetables form part of a wider Mediterranean tradition. Markets bring these regions together. Early in the morning, stalls fill with fruit, cheese, bread, flowers, vegetables, and fish. Later, cafes and public squares become places where time is shared rather than carefully measured. On the Dalmatian coast, klapa singing preserves a tradition of multi-part voices, usually performed without instrumental accompaniment. The songs often turn toward love, distance, home, and the sea. But Croatian culture does not survive only through formal performances. It continues through local festivals, family recipes, small fishing harbors, vineyards, workshops, religious celebrations, football grounds, and evening walks along town promenades. Tourism has changed many coastal communities, creating work while also transforming the rhythm of summer. Yet behind the crowded historic centers, ordinary life continues. Children return from school. Ferries carry workers and supplies. Markets close. Fishing boats enter the harbor, and tables gradually fill as the heat of the day begins to fade. History may be preserved in Croatia's monuments. Culture remains alive in the spaces between them. Croatia is often introduced through a single image, the Adriatic beneath a summer sky. That image is real, but it is incomplete. Croatia is also the sound of trams moving through Zagreb, vineyards beneath Istrian hill towns, Roman stone surrounded by modern streets, waterfalls forming new barriers, and ferries crossing between communities built on islands. Its cities were shaped by empires, republics, merchants, bishops, sailors, farmers, and craftsmen. Yet none of those histories exists alone. They have become part of places that continue to change. A Roman palace became the center of Split. A maritime republic became modern Dubrovnik. Two medieval settlements grew into Zagreb. Ancient agricultural fields on Hvar still produce olives and grapes. The past survives here because people continued to build their lives around it. Between the plains and the sea, Croatia contains many landscapes and many local identities. Together, they form a country that is smaller than its variety suggests. The Adriatic may be its most famous horizon, but Croatia begins long before the land reaches the water.